I mean, I mostly just think of gaming as something that I do socially.
Well, since coming to college, I'm an occasional gamer, but I was very casual at home.
Well, I describe myself as more of a casual gamer.
I'm probably a casual gamer just because I don't really own a gaming system, but I like to partake if it's available.
To me, video gaming subculture is just like an outlet for me to go when I feel like playing video games.
I usually do it just as like something to like de-stress or not think about, because you don't really have to like engage in a whole lot.
Well, it's just like a thing people do in their spare time. So some people do music, some people do art, some people game. That would be DuckTales 2 for the Game Boy Color.
It was definitely a Game Boy, like a normal Game Boy Color.
First console, Game Boy Advance. First game, Pokemon Sapphire.
It was Pokemon, and I still remember those days with like the simple, basic graphics.
I remember my brother playing Pokemon on his Game Boy.
I remember watching my brother play Red version on his Game Boy Color.
It's not something you can do in real life. Just go out and adventure and beat up people with your Pokemon.
I think it was actually like the Magic School Bus games when I was like 6 years old.
I remember also the Nintendo DS and like the first Super Smash Bros.
My first game, probably, I remember getting Super Smash Brothers. I was in first grade, and I remember playing for the first time with my friend. I was Link, and he was Bowser, and it was pretty awesome. I've always had a lot of allegiance towards Nintendo just because I like Pokemon so much.
Probably Super Smash Brothers, just because that's the only one I've been playing recently.
My favorite games remain between RuneScape and Guild Wars 2.
Then like the fantasy games, like fighting and kind of adventurous, things you can't really do. So kind of all around feel.
Project M, which is a modification to Brawl using code overriding through the SD card slot. It puts all the codes back in it that made Melee, as well as some more, so it's a much more competitive version, much more technical version of Brawl, as well as having like all the new characters involved. Enables gamers to have their say in what the game should mean for the community. Enables them to have their own influence on how they interact with the game and how they feel like it ought to be, rather than some developer who doesn't really necessarily know how the players will want it. Depends on the style of game. For say a fighting game like this, you need like technicality, like skill level, as well as like variety and balance.
The graphics, like most people think that's superficial, but it needs to have like fantastic graphics.
For say a first-person adventure, you need a good storyline, good plot, just good design overall.
All you see is the visuals, so they have to be good if I'm going to be entertained. If they suck, it's just going to be like boring.
Probably a game that had something to do with nature but was realistic.
Things that I guess I would like in real life, like sports, like soccer, basketball, tennis.
I feel like just an opportunity to just be creative, not just a set thing you have to do in a game.
Overall power of the console, because there's some games that are game systems that lag.
Reliability.
Something that's durable, and then something that maybe wouldn't require a lot of maintenance, just something simple.
I really enjoy Skyrim, but I can only like play when I'm talking to my friends. Like I hate being alone.
Well, it's a way to like bring people together. Even if you're not good, you can still play with people that consider themselves to be experts. So it's a way you can meet new people.
It's a social. I mean, you're resigning yourself to your bedroom with your door shut. You can like find yourself playing for 5 hours, which is kind of pathetic.
It's still a whole lot of interaction. You're still on a gaming system, but you're still interacting with people, bantering with them.
I would tell the Nintendo people to stop what they're doing and fix themselves.
Keep it so the players can have influence on the development of the game.
I guess I'd tell them to kind of try to appeal to multiple aspects of gaming.
Get feedback from gamers, either via forums or things like that.
Call of Duty, Skyrim, and Assassin's Creed all have the following, and they do a pretty good job of improving it and having just a really good interface.
I
So
really like this one game. It was a basketball game, but it was kind of adventure-like, so you could like walk around cities and things, and challenge people, etc. And it was online, so it had a lot of good aspects like that. So I guess a game with adventure that can keep you competitive, but still keep interest in multiple ways.
Like say the Xbox One, how when it first came out, was very limiting to the players. Things like that I dislike because it limits the usability of the system to what the developers want. They just want to control everything, but just have the game, just put something in there, play it. Is pretty much all you need.